Danger Dolan. From contraceptives to a device that could show us the stars, we count 40 revolutionary breakthroughs that have changed the world.
Number 40.
Rocketry introduced a new frontier for man. It is currently our only way off the planet and symbolizes the boundless depths of human ingenuity. It is because of rockets that we found out that the moon is in fact a giant rock with nothing on it. Well done, humanity.
Number 39.
The combine harvester. This handsome devil was invented in the 1930s. It mechanized farm labor, which freed people up to do new types of work. It's also great for shredding up dozens of human corpses, but you didn't hear that from me.
Number 38.
In levers we trust. Created sometime in the 3rd millennium BC, the lever is thought to have revolutionized manual labor. Ancient Egyptians had not yet discovered the wheel when they built their pyramids. However, they relied heavily on levers. Nowadays we just rely on cranes for everything. To assemble a building, to get a cat out of a tree, to get your fly unzipped. It's pretty cool.
Number 37.
This early 20th century invention killed the radio star and brought the world into people's homes. It revolutionized entertainment, giving us riveting viewing like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and American Idol results shows.
Number 36.
Cement, invented in the 1st millennium BC, was a literal foundation of civilization. You can't pitch a tent into it, but it makes thunderstorms a whole lot less deadly. If you were planning on eating some of this though, you probably wouldn't, cause then you'd fucking die.
Number 35.
The 1859 debut of oil drilling was a great day for capitalism, not the planet. Oil drilling has gone on to fuel the modern economy, establish its geopolitics and change the climate. Nowadays, we simply rub oil on supermodel bodies, and it's not a bad thing.
Number 34.
The humble sailboat transformed sea travel and made visiting other nations seem less like a crazy pipe dream. The first sailboat was constructed sometime during the 4th millennium BC. But ever since the Titanic, people have thrown up their hands and said, nope, I'm good. I'll just take this plane thing everyone's talking about.
Number 33.
Since their domestication some 5,500 years ago, horses have enabled us to travel great distances and trade or exchange ideas with other cultures. Horses are also strong and agile enough to carry cargo, plow farmlands, and even ride into war. Unfortunately, the horses have figured out that they're way stronger than us, and they are starting to take over. Alright, I'm doing it. God damn it.
Number 32.
Since the early 19th century, photography has held a powerful mirror to the human condition. It has had a profound influence on journalism, art, and culture. Although nowadays, we mostly use it for selfies and to take pictures of our food.
Number 31.
Before 1837, information could move no faster than a man on horseback. Fuck off, then came the telegraph. Forget bullets, expression should be faster than a speeding telegraph.
Number 30.
In 1903, the Wright brothers invented a crude version of the world's first aeroplane. This incredible invention literally allowed us to take to the skies, revolutionized how we get around, and unfortunately how we wage war. Aeroplanes are actually a really safe way to travel. If you'd like to learn more, I suggest this show. It's called Air Crash Investigations.
Number 29.
Invented in the 1850s, refrigeration changed our eating and cooking habits so profoundly it was revolutionary. It was also a good year for ice cream. Before that point, you had to rely on ice cubes. Many goddamn ice cubes.
Number 28.
Taking to the streets in the late 19th century, people were initially frightened by the automobile's roaring engine and phenomenal speed. The vehicle would go on to be widely accepted, and has now transformed our daily lives, culture, and the ways in which we interact with our landscape. It's a shame that cars really aren't that popular.
Number 27.
Oil refineries, first built in the mid-19th century, refine and process crude oil, turning into various valuable commodities. Without it, oil drilling would be pointless. Have you ever tried to refine the oil with your bare hands? It kinda hurts and you lose fingers and shit. It's not good.
Number 26.
The Gregorian calendar debuted in 1582. It debugged the previous used Julian calendar, allowing us to jump ahead 10 days and synchronize the world with the seasons.
Number 25.
In 1793, the cotton gin institutionalized the cotton industry in the American South. Unfortunately, it was linked to slavery. Just remember next time you eat some cotton candy that you are punishing a whole race of people.
Number 24.
Invented by all-around wizard Thomas Jefferson, the moldboard plow was the first plow to simultaneously dig up soil and turn it over, allowing for the cultivation of harder ground. Without it, agriculture as we know it would not exist, and we'd be working a lot harder come harvest time.
Number 23.
The first recorded usage of condoms was in China in the 15th century. These gland condoms were thought to have been made of silk paper or lamb intestines and were primarily linked to the upper classes. Condoms were revolutionary, allowing safe sex and assisting to control unwanted pregnancies. Unfortunately today, they are just these latex circles that teenagers never ever use.
Number 22.
Developed in 1863, pasteurization was one of the first practical applications of Louis Pasteur's germ theory. Using heat, the method sterilized wine, beer, and milk was widely considered to be one of history's most effective public health interventions. See, I for one don't really mind if germs want to hang around with us. You know, I got spots on my couch that they can just chill on, but I guess society doesn't think that's okay.
Number 21.
In 1906, radio made its crackly debut. By wielding electronic mass media's power, it was used to spread news and ideas and to shape culture. Then came the shock jocks. Live from DangerDolan.fm, this is Terrible Music Week!
Number 20.
A relatively recent addition, smartphones put the power of computers in the palm of our hands. This has radically affected our culture, relationships, professional conduct, and research methods, as well as our ability to sustain focus for long periods of, just give me a second here. Focus!
Number 19.
The mechanized clock invented in the 15th century made a huge difference to people's lives. Essentially, the invention quantified time, meaning we no longer have to have a look at the sun and guess, oh, let's see, the sun's over there, and there's a shadow there, and my eyes are burning, and I'm gonna die!
Number 18.
Nuclear fission was a controversial process pioneered in 1939. It gave humans new power for destruction and creation, but it's really not that bad once you get to know it.
Number 17.
In the mid-20th century, Norman Borlaug pioneered the Green Revolution. This combined technologies like synthetic fertilizers and scientific plant breeding and greatly increased the world's food output. Borlaug has been credited with saving more than 1 billion people from starvation, which is almost as good as making random ass videos on the internet.
Number 16.
Alphabetization was believed to have been conceived sometime in the first millennium BC. Made knowledge accessible and searchable, may have contributed to the rise of phonetic letter usage over ideographic ones. If you'd like to learn more about it, then open a tin of soup!
Number 15.
Galileo's telescope was unveiled in 1609 with various others, notably Isaac Newton's, improving on the design over the following centuries. Telescopes were invaluable for terrestrial research and astronomy. Nowadays you just use it to peer into apartment windows cause you're creepy!
Number 14.
Gunpowder, invented in the 10th century, is one of the history's most influential inventions. It permanently altered the way humans waged war, brought an end to the medieval ages. Gunpowder outsourced killing to a machine. It also gave us cowboys and first-person shooters. On whoever invented gunpowder, thanks for World War I and II, you brilliant piece of shit.
Number 13.
The internet debuted in the 1960s, although it was radically different to the Pornhub it is today. It is the infrastructure of the digital age, vastly reshaped our culture and revolutionized business operations. It will unfortunately be shut down March 13, 2017.
Number 12.
Optical lenses, developed sometime in the 13th century, changed the world thanks to their ability to refract light through glass. However, it took centuries for the invention of eyeglasses to assist with sight problems and raise the collective human IQ. The invention that keeps on giving. Optical lenses also led to the eventual creation of the microscope and telescope.
Number 11.
Although early societies made extensive use of bronze, stone, and iron, steel fueled the Industrial Revolution. It was pivotal in the construction of our modern cities. The The alloy was not mass-produced until the invention of the Bessemer process in the 1850s. Steel then became one of the largest industries on the planet. It was used to create everything from bridges and railroads to skyscrapers and engines. Nobody really knows where steel actually comes from, but people do suspect the dual-type steel-ground Pokemon called Steelix.
Number 10.
German chemist and father of chemical weapons Fritz Haber won a Nobel Prize for his 1918 development of an ammonia synthesis process called nitrogen fixation. He used this to create a new class of fertilizers, which were essential to the Green Revolution.
Number 9.
Developed in the mid-19th century, sanitation systems revolutionized our standard of hygiene and waste management. They strongly contributed to us living 40 years longer than we did in 1880. We now live in a magical world where what we have to look forward to is heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. And arthritis, because that's always fun.
Number 8.
Cars, planes, factories, trains, spacecraft, they wouldn't have been possible without the early 1712 breakthrough of the steam engine. They fueled one of the most momentous technological leaps in human history during the Industrial Revolution.
Number 7.
A huge advancement in the field of medicine, antibiotics saved millions of lives by killing and preventing the growth of harmful bacteria. Alexander Fleming is credited with accidentally discovering the bacteria inhibiting mold known as penicillin in 1928. He went on to become a silver bullet for a number of formerly deadly diseases.
Number 6.
The internal combustion engine, invented in the late 19th century, made power out of air and fuel. It eventually replaced the steam engine and made the invention of cars and other advanced machines possible. This is much better than the other type of internal combustion, the one that happens in your pants and it's kind of awkward.
Number 5.
Before the 100 BC invention of paper, people wrote on expensive parchment and papyrus. Without paper, millions of ideas and discoveries would have been lost. Paper allowed us to record our thoughts and ideas with ease, and eventually led to the printing press, books, newspapers, toilet paper, and importantly, Penthouse magazine.
Number 4.
Before the wheel was invented in 3500 BC, humans faced huge limitations when it came to transporting stuff over land. Wheeled carts facilitated agriculture and commerce because they allowed people to transport goods to and from markets and ease the physical burdens of people traveling great distances. Wheels are now a vital part of our lives and are found in everything from clocks to vehicles to turbines. And in case you didn't know, the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all day, bitch.
Number 3.
While it's easy to take it for granted, even a short power outage reminds us how ridiculously dependent our modern race is on electricity. Consider that electric lights liberated society from a near total reliance on daylight. Discovered in the late 19th century, electricity has given us heat, energy, convenience, and has countless applications.
Number 2.
E-reader fans might disagree, but prior to the internet, no innovation did more for the spread and democratization of knowledge than the printing press. Invented in the 1430s, printing presses allowed streamlined production of thousands of pages per day. The machine was so influential, it prompted revolutions, religious upheaval, and much scientific discovery. Particular noteworthy headlines include "Cat abducted by aliens and turned into spoon."
Number 1.
In 1796, British doctor Edward Jenner changed history when he used a cowpox virus to protect against smallpox. However, it wasn't until a rabies vaccine was developed in 1885 that the government and community began accepting the idea that making someone sick could prevent further sickness. Vaccination went on to drastically improve mortality rates and quality of life. You will often find it in primary schools used as a torture mechanism for little kids. If you'd like to read about 10 bonus revolutionary breakthroughs, then visit the Danger Dolan website and the written version of this script. You will find links for it down below. That's it for this countdown, and have a good one!